So right now we are live on Digital Parliament page. So welcome everybody. This is Digital Parliament Youth Questions. Today we have a very special young leader with us. He has been elected as a member of Parliament in 2019 from one of the very beautiful location, if I may mention, Andaman and Nicobar Island. He is currently the second best performing member of Parliament in Lok Sabha and best performing MP of the opposition party. He currently serves as a president of the Andaman Nicobar Pradesh Congress Committee, a regional wing of the Indian National Congress. He is a member of Standing Committee, Law and Justice, and Consultative Committee, Home Affairs. Today, we will be discussing with him his journey, experience as a parliamentarian, and his vision for Andaman Nicobar Island. Welcome, Mr. Kuldeep Rai Sharma ji.
Thank you.
Namaskar, sir. So, to begin with, sir, you started very early. We would like to know more about your journey and kindly enlighten us with your experiences and more particularly, what was the turning point to join politics?
Well, good evening to everybody. To start with, it's a long journey, almost a journey of last 22 years. Gradually, see, it happened a long back, I think, before 4 decades when I was small. And I used to see my grandparents and my parents, lot of poor, needy people, they used to come to my house and they used to ask help, and my family members, they used to help them. So when I was small, I was very keenly observing all those things, and that basically inculcated inside me a feeling of doing social service. So gradually, when I grew up, when I went to my schools, when I really thought I was a bit knowledgeable, going to school, then going to college, I was just thinking that as you right now, you told one thing, that it's a beautiful place. No doubt, Andaman Nicobar is one of the most beautiful place, the paradise on earth. But as far as beauty is concerned, it's okay. But apart from beauty, we are very far remote islands, almost 1,200 from Chennai, Kolkata, and a lot of logistic issues are there. Again, our island is a big island, a stretch of 700 kilometers from north to south. It has 5 out of 547 islands, almost.
So we can't hear you. I apologize for the inconvenience. There is a connectivity issue today.
Hello, yeah, hello.
Welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
So, as a child, I used to think that we have to do a lot of work in our islands. Who will do it? Lot of change has to be brought to the islands. So gradually, like that, the feeling came inside me that I should do something for the society, for my people in the islands. So after my schooling, I came for graduation. I came to Mail in Kolkata. I did my engineering from there, and soon after completing my engineering, it was very badly pinching me that my place is calling me back, and I have to get back to my place and I have to do something for the people there. So I went back to the Andamans, and then I started social service. Then gradually I joined in politics. I joined the Congress party. Then I joined the Youth Congress. From there, I started my journey. And after 22 years, I'm a member of parliament sitting in front of.
Wonderful, sir. Now you represent, as I mentioned earlier, beautiful and unique constituency like Andaman and Nicobar Island, which has only one public representative in the form of MP from Lok Sabha. So how has your experience been till now, and what issues have you raised in the House?
See, as I told you, because Andaman Nicobar Islands, see one very example I would just like to quote here. The zone where Andaman Nicobar lies, if you just see the globe, we are very near to Singapore and Malaysia, right? Now, the landmass of Singapore is almost 724 square kilometer, whereas the landmass of Andaman Nicobar Islands is more than 8,457,000 square kilometers. So, if you just talk about the landmass, we are more than 10 times of Singapore, right? But saying so, we being more 10 times bigger than Singapore, but if you see the GDP, if you see the development, if you see other issues, we are lacking very, very, very far behind, right? Now, nowadays, gradually Andaman Nicobar is picking up, it's coming up, and it has got one of the best beaches in Asia and world, right? Singapore, basically, it's completely artificially created a place. Andaman Nicobar, it has a lot of natural beauties, independence, a lot of more things. Now, if you just talk about the official data of Andaman Nicobar administration, 2018-19, the tourism footfall of Andaman was around about 5 lakhs per annum. Whereas if you just look at the tourism footfall of Singapore, per annum it is 1 crore 85 lakhs. That means if you just divide 1 crore 85 lakhs by 12, that means more 14, 15, 16 lakh tourists every year they go to Singapore, right? So in Andaman, 1 year, we are having 5 lakh tourists, whereas in Singapore, being a small place, it has the tourism intake, a footfall of 15 lakhs. So what does that indicate? It indicates a very simple thing that indicates that they have got all infrastructure, their policies are very good, and they are doing in that particular fashion. So I was thinking, why not we plan Andaman Nicobar Islands in the same way? Because we have got lots and lots and lots of good things with us. If you just talk about the EZ zone, we have got 6 lakh square kilometers of EZ zone. If you just talk about the coastal area, the whole country, India has a coastal area of 7,000, whereas Andaman Nicobar alone, it has 1,974,000 square kilometer coastal area. Fisheries sector, we have got 1,47,000 metric tons of fishes in Andaman Sea. If you talk about gas, we have got plenty of gas in Andaman Sea. We have got plenty of oil in Andaman Sea. We have got 84% reserve forest. Right? So lots and lots of a good thing Andaman Nicobar it has, and we do have a lot of resources also with us. So my intention soon after becoming member of parliament, I would like to tell you I have raised more than 294 questions in the parliament, and in that Andaman issues also, all the issues which I could feel in last 45 years and in my political journey of last 22 years, I have taken each and every issue. Let that be education, let that be unemployment, let that be water, let that be health. Because Andaman Nicobar, as of now, it lacks many. It has many drawbacks because education, again, as I told you, scattered islands, and again, people from all castes, creed, language, they reside there. There is English medium, there is Hindi medium, there is Bangla medium, there is Tamil medium, there is Telugu medium. So, because people from all states, district, they have gone to Andamans. So, it's a very good culture. People live together. If you really want to see something, that Gandhiji's approved Swaraj prevails somewhere, that is Andaman Nicobar Islands. It's basically mini India. So what exactly is that? All those things, the resources which we have with us, my intention was very clear in Parliament when I became the member of Parliament that I have to work for the people and I have to see that during my tenure, lot of infrastructure they come in through infrastructure development will take place. Once development will take place, people they'll get employment and basically the income generation will be more because as it is our per capita income is good as compared to the rest of the country. We are 160,000 crore compared to 135,000 crore as far as India is concerned. If you just talk about the literacy rate also, I think Andaman Nicobar Islands is standing in number 5 with 86% of literacy rate. So that way also our boys, our people, they are very efficient. So just if we just give them a proper guidance, if we just show them a proper path, I think Andaman Nicobar will start coming up very well. And because now, as of now, the complete funding is done by the central government. Every year, around about 5,000 to 5,500 thousand rupees every year we get from the center after the budget in the parliament. This is for the overall development of Andaman Nicobar Islands. So I personally feel that if we develop our resources, Andaman Nicobar can generate their own revenue and it can cater their own need. Apart from that, even Andaman Nicobar Islands can give funds to the central government also. So in Parliament, I have raised all the issues, and I'm happy that many of the issues which I have raised in the Parliament are now things are on pipeline, and even Government of India they are working on those lines. And Government of India they are trying to pump in more than 35,000 crore rupees by 2025 for the overall development of Andaman Nicobar Island. Let that be port sector, let that be air connectivity, let that be IT sector, let that be water, let that be fishing, let that be connectivity with the South Asian countries. All those, a very big program is in the pipeline. And one very good thing which really Andaman Nicobar Island have is that down south Andaman Nicobar Islands, the southernmost tip of the island is called Great Nicobar. Below Great Nicobar, the state of Malacca, which is the international sea route, which is one of the busiest sea route. So Government of India is now planning to have a transshipment port there with around about 5,000 to 10,000 crore investment by doing that, so that once a transshipment port comes to Andaman Nicobar Island, a lot of development will take place in Andaman Nicobar Islands.
Excellent, sir. That's extremely visionary, I must say. As a member of Parliament, what challenges are being faced by you at an individual level, and please suggest any changes that are required for the normal functioning of our Parliament, because there are many things that happen which we all feel a little embarrassed about.
See, personally, my view is that being a member of Parliament, because see, we don't have legislature in Andaman Nicobar Islands, right? We have representation only in Lok Sabha. In Andaman Nicobar, from Andaman Nicobar Islands, we don't have any representation in Rajya Sabha. So personally, I feel that being an Indian citizen and since fundamental Constitution of India gives us all fundamental rights, I think we should move ahead and we should get legislation in Andaman Nicobar Islands, for which in Parliament I have already put a private member bill. It has not come yet, but I have put a private member bill so that once my private member bill comes, I would really thrust upon that Andaman Nicobar Island should be given legislature in the form of Delhi and Pondicherry, because after all, it's a people voice. Legislature means it's a people voice, by the people, for the people. And as of now, it's completely governed by the executives. Though they are doing it well, but still, people's voice doing by the people representative, that would be much more good and it can be connected in a very good manner with the general mass and with the development process. So my as a parliamentarian, I'm trying my best so that this legislation is through and Andaman Nicobar gets that legislature and we get joint representation in Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Apart from that, I feel that being the lone member of parliament from Andaman Nicobar Islands, other states, they do have the advantage that they have got 20, 30, 40 MPs and one or the other MP or they get the opportunity, they get the chance to speak and they can put their voice, the voice of their state, the voice of the people. But I, being the lone member of parliament, I do have in Andaman Nicobar Islands, we do have 3 districts. So the opportunity which I get is question hour, 0 hour. So that depends upon luck. At times you get the opportunity to speak what you want to speak, or else many times you don't get the even whole parliament session. You even don't get single chance. So I feel that the parliament time for 0 hour and question hour, star and star hour, that should be increased so that especially people like us who come from UT, a single lone member of parliament, they get a chance to at least put the view of the people of that place.
I hope that we are able to make that change for the youngsters to join in at least. The Prime Minister had recently inaugurated the optical fiber cable between Chennai and Andaman and Nicobar Island. In light of this, how do you see the role of internet and digital tools for our economy? Also, that digital parliament itself is online tool. What kind of features do you see that the political leaders in times to come would require from tools like these?
To be very honest, I am very weak as far as digital concept is concerned. I don't have much idea about that, but still, since you've asked me something, I would just put in two ways. First, the answer for the Prime Minister, and the second, what you have told me. I'm thankful to the Prime Minister that on 10th of August he has inaugurated the optic fiber cable, which is from Chennai to Port Blair, and it is connected to 7 different islands. Right? It is something a revolutionary step for Andaman Nicobar Islands because, as you said, the whole globe has the concept of digitalization. So let that be e-commerce, let that be education, let that be telemedicine, anything. Everything is now getting through internet and all other media stuff. So connecting Andaman Nicobar Islands through internet, now this has given a great leap to the islands. Now islands, I feel that now island will grow much faster. Connectivity issue, there were 2 connectivity issues. One was the physical connectivity, let that be through air or by ship. Ship is the lifeline of Andaman Nicobar Islands. And the second connectivity was the internet connectivity. Now, since internet connectivity has come to Andaman Nicobar Islands, I have just put one more demand in front of Parliament, in front of Government of India, and in front of the Andaman Nicobar administration. That is because now, since Chennai is connected from Andaman Nicobar Island, one side connected. But I feel personally that, see, because internet connectivity will bring lot of employment to Andaman Nicobar Islands. So once only one connectivity is there, because now just talking to you before the program started, even we lost the link. Being you sitting at Bombay, I sitting at Delhi, even we had lost the link. So Andaman, being a far remote place, one-way connectivity is only there. Something wrong happens because it is such a 1,250 kilometers and the cable is under sea. Something goes wrong, some unnatural calamity or something, some technical fault, if it comes, then again it will be cut off. So again, I had put the demand that Andaman Nicobar should again be connected from hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
One connection we got through Chennai to Port Blair, Again, one more, I have demanded for one more connection that is from the north most tip of the island that is called Diglipur, from Diglipur to West Bengal. So if this loop is completed, we will have two parallel lines. Something goes wrong with one line, so it won't affect the development of the place. It will not affect the IT industry. So this is one of demand which I have put in front of Government of India to please put one more underwater cable line, OFC, optic fiber cable line from Kolkata. That's not exactly Kolkata, it's Diga. From Diga to uh, Diglipur. So if this is done, really it will be a great help for the people of islands. Apart from that, as you asked about the digital thing, it's now 4G, 5G. I would say the more technology comes because the call drop and all those things, a lot of hurdle comes because of that. Lot of then efficiency and things really goes to the backbench. So to avoid all those things, if the more faster the connectivity, the more good the connectivity, that would not only be good for the parliamentarians, but by and large to each and every person of the country.
Sure, so I believe that even Mr. Ambani said in one of the interviews that the next 2 decades, India will be completely digitized, and we will
Yeah,
be one of the top 3 countries in the world being a digital country.
let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Yes, sir. So now you are also a member of Standing Committee Law and Justice. The situation in India for case execution is time taking, and especially for women rights which are aggrieved. What are the initiatives do you propose in your tenure to ensure speedy administration of justice?
This is a very good question which you have asked. See, I'm lucky to be a part of this Law and Justice Committee, Parliament Standing Committee. And see, though last it's almost 1.5 years, and since last March, due to Corona pandemic, our session was not there, meetings were not held. In fact, starting, I myself, it was as a beginner, it was a learning phase for me. I could really come across a lot of good people, lot of knowledge in this particular area. And see, as you said that, see, we have to understand uh, the delay in the judiciary system. The very basic reason is that, see, the number of cases which we have in India, let that be the lower court, let that be the court, let that be the civil court down the line. See, you just two things, you just compare two things, the number of cases and the infrastructure which you have with you. Number of courts are less, number of judges are less, but whereas number of uh, cases are much more. One thing. Second thing is that uh, the hearing which takes place in judicial system, we know that it takes a very, very, very long time. At times, the lawyers they take date. At times, the judges they take date. So this it keeps on lingering on. So to this one first part, I am just trying to answer. The ladies part, I'll come to the next part. So I personally feel that number of courts should be increased, number of judges, because a lot of vacancies are there as far as the appointment of judges are concerned. Those has to be filled up in a speedy way, so that the cases can come up fast. Apart from that, whatever trial take place, I feel that a time-bound trial should be there for a particular case. The nature of case, we know that land case or civil case or some criminal case, some time frame, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year has to be framed that in that particular time frame only the judgment has to be delivered. These are, I think, 3, 4 points which, if really Government of India and in fact in this Law and Justice Committee, the committee has taken on this matter that this fast trial system for ladies, especially as you have mentioned, for ladies, this fast trial system should come up so that justice is given to them in a fast way and in a proper way, and even the people who do crime, Even they have a fear for that. If you do crime, we will be punished. It's not that, okay, you can keep on going to the higher court and appealing and killing time so that by the time the case become very light.
I appreciate that, sir. Being a woman, justice delayed is justice denied. Even for some of the prominent cases, it took almost a decade to reach to a conclusion. I hope with your presence in the committee, there will be a lot of difference. Now, you're also a member of consultative committee on home affairs. Can you provide insights about the working of such committees? And since Andaman Nicobar Island is administered through Ministry of Home Affairs, what are the inputs or initiatives for the same?
I am really lucky to be a part of this Consultative Committee of Home Affairs because as far as Andaman Nicobar is concerned, every minor and every major decision is taken by the Home Ministry. So Home Minister sitting in front, and I'm able to put my all my problems, my issues, whatever Andaman Nicobar Islands are facing. Because you see, if you just see the setup of Andaman Nicobar Islands, we have got the Lieutenant Governor in Andaman Nicobar Islands, and headed by Lieutenant Governor with all bureaucrats, chief secretary, and down below the bureaucrats. And now again, they have got their limitations in major policy issues. Uh, they have got certain powers. In those powers, they can do things, but after that, they can't do anything. So, being a member of Home Ministry Committee, I get that opportunity and privilege. Whatever issues which I am unable to solve there, I bring those issues to the Home Ministry to the highest level, and I'm happy that whatever issue is there, I put there, and I try to get solution from that particular issues. And apart from that, this is a committee which has many. It has got a very vast subject. It can take up any matter prevailing to the country, and we can make policies. We can frame policies and guide the government, guide the parliament, so that proper initiative, time to time amendments, whatever is required, that can be done through this committee.
Excellent, sir. What are your expectations from the upcoming Union Budget 2021, since it will be presented in one of the most challenging times that the world is going through?
Yeah, that's very true. See, since I belong to Andaman Nicobar Islands, my prime motive, duty, responsibility is Andaman Nicobar Islands. And as I have told you, uh, since it's a very hard, tough time which we are going through, I know budget, it's a big thing. Government has to consider a lot of parameters while doing the budget. And we get the budget of 5,500 crores per annum. My submission, my request, and my presentation in the parliament in the budget session would be that my budget should be increased because since we lack so many basic facilities, especially in health sector, in education sector, so that we get more fund uh, in this budget so that this two sector is developed. And apart from that, I would request for more fund in shipping and IT sector so that more employment is generated and people get employment for that.
So, what were your initiatives during the COVID-19 times, and how has the island been affected now that we've seen that even it has reached Antarctica?
See, time and again, I've been telling you that, see, we being a remote place, we do have a lot of advantage, but apart from that, we do have a lot of disadvantages also. Advantage is that being a far place, we are safe. But again, since uh, air connectivity is there, sea connectivity is there. So from mainland, I mean Chennai, Kolkata, Delhi, when people they go from this place to Andamans. So this way, the COVID has transferred there. So previously, COVID was not there, but once when COVID came in, we really had a very tough time because by and large people are poor and 3, 4, 5 lockdowns were there, and people were forced to be inside the house. And the very basic issue was that we didn't have proper medical facilities with us. We don't have proper specialists with us. We don't have proper medicine with us. We don't have proper ventilators with us. And whatever we have, it was very limited, very limited. We had only 6 ventilators with Andaman Nicobar, whole of the islands, where the population is around about 420,000 people. We had only 6 ventilators. So initially, when the COVID started there, it was a very, we all were in a very panic state. I really thank the people of Andaman Nicobar Islands. They cooperated very well, and I should appreciate also the Lieutenant Governor, Chief Secretary, and all of their team, even police department, municipal council. They all worked very nicely to control the pandemic and to serve the people there. And we used to go to people, all the migrant workers. There were a lot of migrant workers in Andamans from Kolkata. People they had gone there from Orissa, from Bihar for labor purpose. So we did go to them. We gave them free ration. We gave them all the facilities, whatever they wanted. We gave them. Apart from that, one very major issue, which really one of the toughest days we had during COVID, since you know that COVID was a real tough days, but we really had much more tougher thing than COVID. That was water crisis, because in Andamans we really that those days, especially in March, April, it is a great pain. With great pain, I'm telling you, we used to get water only for 15 minutes in 7 days. You can just imagine it was lockdown in a family where 8, 10 people, 4, 5, 6 people are there, and you're getting water in a tap water only for 15 minutes. You will just hardly fill 1 or 2 drums, and keeping that, you can't go out for 7 days. After 7 days, we used to get water because there was scarcity of water because we didn't get the monsoon this time. So water was one of the very major issue really we faced. And I really thank the people, the way they cooperated with all these odds, pandemic one side, water issue one side, but still we came up with all this.
Well, it took a lot of courage for many people across the globe to come over it. I'm sure things would be eased by now. So, how can young people be helpful to your cause, and how do you see them participating in Indian politics, especially party like Congress, wherein we always need a godfather?
This is something. It's a very vast subject. To say in a nutshell, see, to be very frank, what do you mean by politics? One thing. Second is, what is the role of youth in politics? Third is, why should a youth come in politics? Okay. Now, as we all know that India is a country which has 70% of the people, they stay in the rural area, 30% in the urban area. We know that, as I told you earlier, our per capita income is 135,000. Generally, we are poor people. Now, any youth, see, youth, 65% of the Indian population, they are youth. I would welcome if youth comes in politics. That is nothing like that. That is the biggest achievement India can ever have, because 65%, one section, and to think about them, to think about their policies, to think about their need, to think about their welfare. A youth can only understand all those things. But again, as I was telling you, a youth, why will a youth come to politics? Okay, one has the desire to come in politics. Youth will come in politics. He or she will join politics. But again, doing politics, how will the family survive? Because ultimately, you have to have money. You have to have money. If you have money, then only you can mentally you'll be at ease. Easily, whatever you feel, because in politics you have to say what you feel, what is right. If you don't have food in your stomach, and if you just talk about politics, a day or two you can talk about politics, but the third day I think then you'll forget politics and you'll just go for your earning your bread and butter. So I welcome a lot of youth to come in politics. But again, because they are the future, they can do wonders. But again, youth coming in politics, it's a good say because people they speak, and it's a very good saying. But practicality, when you go to the ground and you see the conditions, it's not that easy, and it's not that that cakewalk that you come in politics and you just climb up the ladder and you are so and so, so and so, so and so.
Thank you so much. So on this note, we have a youth, Mr. Saurabh Acharya, who would like to ask you a question. Saurabh, would you please unmute yourself and also switch on your camera?
Thank you, sir. Hello, sir. This is Saurabh Acharya from Bhubaneswar. I am currently pursuing my BLLB degree, and I am in my final year from Bhubaneswar. So my question to you is that, sir, now that the optical fiber cable is like a thing in Andaman, and now you are slowly getting internet access. So do you think proper infrastructure in coming days will be like a driving factor to promote development? Like once the industry start coming up in Andaman, so slowly you can develop, like there is a big logistical issues if big companies and those who have a approach towards sustainable development, if they come to this island so that the logistical problem will be solved?
To be very honest, let us take this in two parts, right?
Yes, sir.
Your question is very good question, very justified question. Now, we are talking about development. What is development? What is the exact definition of development, right? Now, being a person from Andaman and Nicobar Islands, as I told you, it's a scattered islands. Now, I reside in Port Blair. The far islands people, they are not getting connectivity. Now, since coming in of optic fiber cable in Andamans, now we are very happy. We are getting lot of connectivity. There is no issue for connectivity. We are very happy. First thing, the island is I'm talking about. Second part is that because now Andaman Nicobar Island, it has become one of the major tourism hub in the country, right? Now, any tourist who goes to Andaman, the sunset exactly takes place by 5 p.m. there. 5 p.m. it's completely off. After 5 p.m., you don't have anything to do in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. If you have a tourist, when he goes there, he doesn't have anything to do there, right? So only thing he has to stay back is room and watch TV. That's it. So lot of tourists, while meeting with them, interacting with them, they had really put their pain that we are coming to this place, but it's very sorry that we don't have internet connectivity here. So what do we do? So now second prospect is that now since after OFC cable, now even tourists, they will be very happy because now connectivity is there, because night time they can do their job or chat, whatever they feel like, they can watch movies and anything, whatever as per their requirements, everything will be operational. Now the technical thing is that how do you generate employment? Yeah, how do you bring infrastructure in Andaman and Nicobar Islands? See, if you just talk about the time zone, right? Andaman Nicobar Island in globe, it is exactly, it comes under the time zone of Singapore and Malaysia, right? Now you just think about Singapore. It is one of the fastest growing economy in the world, right? The kind of IT infrastructure Singapore they have with them, it is unbelievable, right? My intention, my aim, my target is I am just trying to aim Singapore, because Singapore being a small place, if they can develop so well, we have got a lot of good things with us which we can do. Now, I think if you have heard my conversation with Harsha, I told one thing that we have got one cable from Chennai to Port Blair. I have demanded for the second cable from Teglipu to Diga, because I personally I did meet few of the corporate bodies requesting them to please come to Andaman and Nicobar Islands, because since now we have got OFC cable bandwidth, everything is now good. Why don't you come to Andaman and Nicobar Islands and start your business call center or BPOs, whatever, so that the people of Andamans, they get job. Youths are very good, highly qualified. and the kind of the nature of job which is done in Singapore, and the amount quantum of money is paid to a youth or a person in Singapore, 1/4 of the same money is paid to the youth of Andaman, the same nature of job, and that can be done. So the answer which I got from them is that they feel very rich to come to Andaman as of now, because since there is only one cable line, if anything wrong happens, because Andaman Nicobar Island, it falls under seismic zone 5. It's a highly earthquake prone area. Even during tsunami,
Tsunami is 2004
yeah,
tsunami.
tsunami also technically plate were overlap or something. This big thing happens, then the whole line will be really destroyed. And again, to find the place of fault, to rectify it, will take months together. And again, the person, any big multinational company or any businessman, corporate who puts money for maybe 3 months, 6 months here, they will have no business and they'll lose business. So they are scared of this particular thing. So they want that to be on safer side. One more parallel line should be there so that even something goes off, the next line is there and the business won't be stopped. And even the development process as well as the unemployment issue, which will cater after this IT sector, that will really be good to the people and the youth of the island.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Saurabh, for your question.
Thank you, Harsha.
Thank you. Sir, any final message to our viewers on Facebook and right now in other places? In
My
future?
my 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 view is that my island should grow day in day out, and it should grow very fast and very big, keeping the environment ecology safe. The island should grow. That is my pray to the Almighty, and request to all my countrymen to just bless the island people so that the island grows and the island contributes to the nation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we can clearly see your love for your constituency. We highly appreciate the time that you have given us. And whatever possible in future, we would like to contribute towards the growth of Andaman and Nicobar.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for Namaskar.